Well, welcome to today's episode. Today we've got a very special guest, Dr. Christiane Schroeter. Dr. Schroeter is a TEDx speaker, a business and wellness coach, professor, and best-selling author. She created Petite Practice to help professionals grow through small strategic actions. As host of the top 1% podcast, Happy Healthy Hustle, she shares clear, actionable tools for building aligned momentum and sustained business success. So, Dr. Christiane, welcome.
I'm so thrilled to be here, Mark, and audience. This is going to be a really fun episode. We're definitely going to share some good tips and tricks for you to align yourself and your superpowers as well.
I love it. Thank you. And for those just joining the podcast, we at Schroeter-The AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you'd like to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth into the DMs. So, Dr. Schroeter, please tell us more about what you're working on lately.
Yeah. So I love how you introduced me with the TEDx talk. And that's definitely generated a lot of interest. People came out of the woods saying, oh my gosh, I followed your journey on social media. And now I want to do a TEDx talk too. How do I do that? So I'm
How
working
inspirational.
working on a book, helping you to get that runway to the red dot. That's a book that I'm working on.
Nice. I like it. Cool title.
A runway to the red dot. And then even before then, so on December 4th, I'm going to launch a book that will really tie in our confidence with our sales and marketing strategy. So it's called Step Into Your Voice. Because once you align yourself, all of a sudden you're actually going to have fun selling and you're going to have fun putting marketing together because you are really feeling you can speak up and you feel confident with that. So that Step Into Your Voice book will be launched on December 4th.
Exciting. That's coming around the corner not too long from now.
Yep.
Good. Okay, so you've got some books going on. You did your TED Talk, and also as a professor, what's your role there?
Yeah, so I teach beautiful question. So I teach innovation entrepreneurship. And if you're watching this recording, you can kind of see my books in the background. So the main reason really why I started writing was because I missed, when you write your dissertation, you're like, oh my gosh, it felt kind of good to create some like momentum with your writing. But at the same time, you always want to write something that helps others to really create momentum, not just with your teaching, but also leaving a legacy with your words on paper. Just because we all have different learning styles. And so I created a book for my marketing class that's called How to Master Your Goals. Because if you think about marketing, that's really what it comes down to. Like, we have goals, we have problems, we have needs and wants. How can we all align this in marketing? And then from there, I teach innovation entrepreneurship. So for that class, I wrote a book, Discover Your Superpower. Because best innovators and entrepreneurs are the ones that really discovered their superpower. And everybody else that hasn't discovered it yet, don't worry at all. At the end, we have that Discover Your Superpower quiz. So you can even discover how aligned you are with your superpower later.
That's cool. I like that. How you have a quiz at the end to help people along that journey.
Yeah, and you can pop it. It's free. You can pop it in the show notes here today too. So it will help you and align yourself with your superpower.
Oh, yeah. Be sure to. I mean, you could drop it right now. What's the link? How do people find that?
Yeah, so go to my website, Dr. Christiane. So it's written out the word doctor and then my first name. And it's just in the top right-hand corner. Can't miss it at all. It's like a raspberry button. Click on the raspberry button and get aligned with your superpower or figure out how aligned your superpower is with yourself. And then, of course, while you're there, watch my TEDx talk, because that's definitely been an amazing journey where I felt my superpower was aligned with myself.
No kidding. And I think I recall when we spoke a couple weeks ago about that, and you were saying that, what was the accolade that you said? There were no show notes or no prompts or no teleprompter or something. What do they call it for the TEDx when it's just completely you?
Confidence screen.
It's a confidence scale or something?
Confidence monitor.
Monitor.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's like there's no kind of prompting going along the screen where, like, if you think of like a PowerPoint presentation or something, sometimes when people are speaking, they might have something like that to follow. But this confidence monitor is something similar to that, and you didn't use that whatsoever. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I really just memorized it and got up on the stage. And my goal was to connect with the audience and look at them. And I didn't want a monitor in the way. I just wanted to
Yeah.
be the person that they can focus on and listen on, and the person that really honors their presence. And then, of course, everybody that's watching on YouTube, you can see how much fun I have while I give the talk. So I wasn't sidetracked by any electronics or anything. And I think even like the preparation leading up to it, coming back to my Runway to the Red Dot book and my Step into Your Voice book, was already a blast and a learning
Mm.
experience from an entrepreneurial perspective, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so, what are some success stories that you might be able to share in regards to either any students that you have had that have taken your guidance and applied it in their own lives, or maybe something outside of your students and in any business relationships that you've had where people have taken your guidance and achieved success?
Well, that's a beautiful question, Mark. So
Thanks.
first of all, I always believe that if you touch somebody else's life, stay, in contact with them and see how you can be of service with them. Always ask, is there anything I can do for you? Reach out to them. I mean, especially now, we're coming to the end of the year. It's like getting into the season of gratitude for the full year and looking ahead, what's happening in the new year. But some people might really appreciate that you reach out to them and that you are not just this person that taught a class and then it's done, but you're actually staying into contact. So in my books, the first 2 pages, I always have various overviews of previous clients, previous students that summarize a little bit of how I touched their lives. And it's quite impactful. So for instance, there was one student that came to my class not really knowing at all what he was going to do. And
Okay.
I really challenged him to think outside of the box. So the testimonial really reads something along the lines, and I can get the book and I can actually physically read it to you as well. Should I do that?
Sure.
Okay, let me get it here
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
shelf.
That'll be
We are
that'll be
like
great.
really like hands on here.
Yes, we
So
are.
that's
I love it.
in my Discover Your Superpower book here. So the
Okay.
beautiful thing is, especially if you're watching this on video, it's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, hold up the cover first too, if you would. Let's see the cover. Okay, there we go. Discover your superpower. So that's what the cover looks like, everybody.
Yeah, and it's important that when you discover your superpower, this is what the world sees.
Hmm.
This is who you are.
The roots are who you are, right?
Right. Your
Yeah,
superpower is very much tied in with how you grew up, how your
yeah,
values and beliefs are shaped.
yeah. And
And if you
let's see
think about,
the testimony.
yeah, so
Which one
it's
are you
this student
referring
right
to?
there.
That
This
guy,
student right there.
Joe,
Okay.
Joe
Yeah, Joe.
Gardner.
Exactly. So let me read this.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah. Please
Gardner,
do.
Vice President of Business Development. Christiane introduced me to a whole new way of thinking about business and marketing, challenging me to think outside the box and expand my imagination. To this day, I continue to push my limits, dream bigger, and embrace every opportunity to grow.
Wow,
So pretty. I
that
know. And
is.
what's cool is that I'm still in touch with those students and those
That's great.
clients. So there's another one over here that somebody says, Dr. Schroeter has been an irreplaceable mentor in my life, exemplifying dedication, discipline, and the power of small, consistent efforts. That's the petit practice you mentioned at the beginning, Mark.
Yes,
I love,
every
yeah,
little thing.
yeah. And we could come back to that too, kind of like circle back. What I'm describing to you right now is, in essence, an example of a petit practice. It's really the small steps to reaching out, and they were
Hmm.
sharing 2 sentences of how I impacted their life, how their
Mm.
lives may be transformed. But it means the world to me, and it means the world to the reader who looks at this and thinks, "Oh my gosh, these people actually really had a good time with this book and with this particular coach." So this is kind of neat, right? And then, of course, you can you look through it and it feels authentic and real. And it feels like there is some genuine, passion for that too, which is always something I feel is important whenever you are a coach, that you actually need to transform somebody's life and you need to show, I care about you and I see you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I was looking at a guy's bio today, and
Hmm.
he was actually mentioning something similar to this, where as a publisher, he has a kind of like drawing people into the relevance of that authenticity topic. Not really topic, but just like you were saying and showing with your tree on the cover there, that like who you are, it's the roots, right? And in today's world with so much AI and things like that, yeah, there you go with those roots, that, there's the trust gap, and there's also the, authenticity kind of meter with things, and people really just identifying so much with the realness of people. And so like you were saying, all those little things that you impacted people's lives with, and then staying in touch with them so that both you and them are continuing to grow in whatever sort of ways, in parallel or what have you. And so what has that been like for you in your teaching, your
Hmm.
coaching, your mentoring, your writing, and all that sort of stuff, where AI is such a tool that we can use these days for acceleration of things, for efficiencies and assistance, but then maintaining that humanness to it so that we're not getting overwhelmed by it?
Beautiful question. Yeah. I think as a coach or a mentor or even like somebody that's just touching your life as like a little node in your network, I personally follow what I call the lead approach, which is LEAD, right? For lead. So
Huh?
first, my principle is I listen. That's
Yeah.
the L in lead. Always listen first and then speak. And especially with AI, if you sometimes listen to an elevator pitch or you listen to a description of a business model, you can quickly pick up whether people are just generating this in ChatGPT because it doesn't come from the heart and doesn't even sound real and authentic. And
Right.
now that's like something when you listen to people's problems, you can be a much better prompter in generating AI pitches that actually align with how you would say it. So always think a little bit in terms of listen first and then use some of the key terms really when you put your ideal client together or your elevator pitch. You want some of these key terms to be feeding in because that really builds a very nice, colorful, ideal client and not just like a shallow robotic response. So
Hmm.
listen first. That's really
Yeah.
important. And then secondly is the E, and the E is for empathy. And
Mm.
again, we're coming back to this. You have to feel what somebody says. And I love AI. And I think this is like really the key to making you interact with AI in a way that it expresses those feelings. So at the end of the day, you're still the one that gives me the elevator pitch or that presents their slide deck to me or that puts the website together or the marketing
Yeah.
proposal, but you
Like
have to
whatever the
put your
service
empathy in
is.
it. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
put your empathy in behind that. And then coming to A, and that's what you just brought up, Mark, is that authenticity. What's really special about you? And that also goes to the D then. What's your direction? Where are you going to go with this? If I'm not clear about the so what, then I'm like, okay, so you're just kind of meandering around here. What's your
Right. Like
direction? What do
now
you
what?
really, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. So listen, empathy, authenticity, and direction. That's really what I personally feel is how we can use AI in our benefit and really feel like we are a team.
100%. I love it. I love it. Where have there been instances where the AI has given you some sort of a challenge or a setback that you did not expect? And not only how did you overcome it, but what were some lessons learned around that?
I feel that still with number responses or date responses, when you use AI, for instance, to create calendars or mathematical formulations, you always have to double check it. I've actually been in a presentation and that person had put together like a calendar of meeting times and it was completely off, right? So
Okay.
it was like telling us that it's Thursday, whatever, October 22nd, where today is actually the 23rd. And it was like,
Right.
whoa.
Super basic. I've had that same thing happen, actually.
And it's funny because I'm not sure why that happens because it knows the time zone I'm in. I mean, it knows a lot about me, I'm sure, but I'm not sure why that is. It seems to be always somehow off on the dates,
Yeah.
on the day itself. And then same thing, I had somebody send out a newsletter, and it was similar to what I just did with my LEAD.
Okay.
And then the AI actually left out one of the letters. So at first I thought it was like intentional. So I responded back and I basically said, "Oh yeah, it's like one of the letters is missing." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, how embarrassing." But so it happens. So you always have to double check the work. My biggest suggestion to you is you can use AI, but in a certain way, it's nearly like with children. Don't be like super tired or super frustrated or
Uh,
like totally like time pressed because that's like when the responses are just not happening. When you really, really
right.
want it to work, it's like, oh, it's like when you try to get your kids in the car and they're not having their shoes on. It's like, oh
Right.
no, why are we not
Garbage in,
wearing shoes?
garbage out.
We are leaving right now. Nobody's ready. And I was like, oh. So that's the same thing with AI. Like, don't wait till the last minute. And by all means, like, keep a calm head. It really doesn't matter if you meant to send out a newsletter at 9 o'clock, that you send it out at noon because you double checked that all letters and all dates were correct, because it kind of falls back on you. I mean, I honestly sent out once a newsletter and I had just, used ChatGPT, and at the end it said like, warmly, your name. And it didn't say my name. And so some people responded and they said, Christiana, I was supposed to say warmly Christiana, wasn't it? And I was like,
Right. Whoops,
so
didn't
these
check
little
it.
things, I know these
Yeah.
little things, it's fine. But then some people will start to become like a little bit like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
need to be careful
Yeah.
about that.
Right. Yeah. It's so important to check that all along as well. I feel like to not only give it good inputs at the beginning, but as the iterations go through, to check on all of those and then to really maintain that the final output is something that you're proud of, right? It's like the builder who's building a house. It's like he's or she is putting their heart and soul into every time that they're hitting a nail in with a hammer or something, right? Like that level of pride and workmanship. I think a lot of times people are leaning on AI to do what I call the cognitive offloading and just have
Yeah.
it take care of these things for them. But the people that are going to be more successful, I believe, are the ones that are using AI to do cognitive uploading or like upgrading so that they're using it as a tool and then they're wrapping in like their personality to things so that it's really showing them in the best version of themselves. And so whether it's like making sure that their resume is truly correct and accurate on an application, or whether it's, writing something in a book about a biography of themselves or something, or like something in their work that has to do with something AI, it's just always checking it and then making sure that humanness is going to come through in whatever the output is of having the AI assistance.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I like that you say the humanness about all this, because at the end of the day, it's great for brainstorming and it's great sometimes to look at things from a different perspective. I mentioned my testimonial about thinking outside the box. It sometimes helps actually with that outside of the box thinking. It's like, huh, I didn't even think about that. But
Right.
then you still, at the end of the day, you're the one that should choose one of those solutions and execute it in a way that you feel it gives your own personal touch with it.
Hmm.
And that is really important. As I say, so you could write your elevator pitch in ChatGPT. That's great. But you are the one that's recording it and uploading it to YouTube and sending it to me. And if it sounds like, why are they using those words? And I'm kind of
Right.
like starting to second guess, what is this
Yeah.
actually?
Yeah.
There's no humanness right there.
It doesn't fit. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been some learnings that you may have had from either your coaching clients or your students of something that they've used, implemented, or found out because of AI, and that's given you a kind of learning moment?
Yeah. So recently they use a lot of images. And I mean, I'm fine with mock-ups, creating them in AI. I think images showing people is always very difficult. And it just doesn't look quite right. And, there's fingers missing or something.
Right.
It's getting definitely better.
It is getting better. Yeah.
But, earlier we talked about the typos in the dates
Yeah.
and in the
Right.
days. There's always typos somewhere. When a student creates a mock-up, you really have to double check it. It might be good the first time, but then you do more iterations, it actually gets worse, which is kind of funny, right? It's like a spiral. It's like, and then it lands.
Right.
And it's like, now it's full of typos.
Right.
So that's definitely, I see that a lot. So what I always say is, describe what you're trying to get across. Let's say you do a product mock-up. Describe in ChatGPT, I want to create a slim can. It's this particular drink right here. I want that the colors are whatever, blue and raspberry pink, and this is the font, and da da da. Da. And it's actually super helpful to see what it comes up with. But
Hmm.
then I have the students or the clients take a screenshot and say, all right, so now we're going over here to Canva. We're actually going to create this from scratch. And you'll be surprised in how much this is going to look differently. And at the beginning, like, oh, but do we have to? The one from ChatGPT is pretty decent, isn't it? All my cover designs from all my books, I always brainstormed on ChatGPT, like,
Okay.
what cover design would you come up with for Step Into Your Voice? And that was actually
Okay.
a tough one, Mark, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like
How so?
a brain and a person steps into it. But then,
Yeah. Okay.
at times, there's some good ideas there. And then I'm still going to go ahead into Canva and create it myself from scratch, just because I would prefer that it all looks cohesive with my colors. I see that the brands are exactly represented in the right fonts, and that's just really what I love doing. I love doing it myself, and that's what I end up doing at the end. Yep.
Well, there you go. I mean, you're literally putting your name on it
Mm.
and owning the process and using it as a resource there. So you've got that one new book coming out, right? And
Yep.
what other exciting projects might you have coming down the line in 26?
Yeah. So in January, I'm going to launch the Next Step coaching program, which will
Okay,
be
what's
going
that?
hand in hand. Well, it will help you gain the confidence in your leadership style, in your business to really go to that next step because you actually feel you can speak up when maybe before you were holding back. And confidence really creates momentum, and momentum also creates money. That's how I look at that. We always have to think at the end of the day, there might be a lot of opportunities you haven't tapped into it yet because A, you might not have had the confidence to go after them, but B, just because you didn't have your systems efficiently lined up. So you can hear from my accent,
Sure.
I'm German. I'm all about efficiency. Like, how
Right.
can we make this more efficient, right? And I'm
Yeah.
very much a believer that once you align your efficiency and once you align your voice, which is
Yeah.
basically what the next step is, you're really going to see some momentum. So that coaching program is
You're
8 weeks
unstoppable.
long.
Okay.
Probably 8 weeks and really feeling we're going to nail down what your business proposition is and then scaling that.
I love it. Wow. And so how much does the coaching that you do
Hmm.
parallel what you're teaching your students in class?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in general, the number one problem, which is going to be what the Step Into Your Voice book focuses on, is always the same, Mark. Confidence, right? The lack of confidence or the self-doubt. Especially if you're a high achiever and maybe you are a business and you already went to college and you have all your degrees, maybe even your PhD. Lack of confidence, self-doubt is always the same. So that is what I coach all age groups. The college students, the clients, I even coach high school students. The self-doubt is always the same. And I
Yeah.
think it comes back to that superpower that sometimes our roots, there's somebody in our life that does something while we grew up. It could be that, let's just say you're an artist and there was this one teacher that took once your work and crumbled it up. You know how impactful
Yeah.
that is to have somebody that does that to you?
Yeah. It certainly can
Huh?
be. Yeah.
And so I always think about, let's go back and really think, what is it that you're passionate about and why are you not doing that? And let's figure out how to really step into your superpower and make that defining moment something we can tackle and we can overcome.
I love it. A mentor of mine recently shared his definition of confidence, and the way that he likes to define it is that it's knowing what's going to happen in the future or knowing what's going to happen next.
Mm.
Right. So
That
it's
fits
like
with my next step.
standing in that place of conviction where, based on all of your experience and learnings, etc., that you've got that confidence to go forward, knowing at least to a degree that you're going to be on stable footing because of XYZ. Right.
That fits with my next step title. That's a good one. I should get his quote into my book.
Yeah. There you go. Brooks. I forgot his last name, but
Yeah, that would be great. We
I'll
can
get it to
connect
you.
after that, but this is
Yeah.
a fantastic definition. I love that.
Yeah, 100%. And well, fantastic. And so, what sort of trends do you see as something that we're currently in regards to AI, or something that, again, as we turn the page into 26, that you may see coming down the pipe, either for your business as it's evolving, or what your students, be it coaching students or university students, are getting exposed to, any of these kind of like, "Ooh, there's a real potential for a trend there." What have you noticed?
I think that the current college students are very skeptical about certain things.
Mm,
Many of them are very skeptical about AI, to be honest with you,
yeah,
Mark.
for sure.
And they wonder, what are the side effects of doing this for the environment, for myself? They have doubts and they have questions, and I don't always have the answer for it. You know,
Yeah,
I tell them this is something, it's so new and it's growing so fast that we'll just have to kind of see where it all goes, right?
yep, yep,
And so that's definitely a trend, being skeptical, scrutinizing things more. I feel that is definitely, you know, deep down, they sometimes wonder about things. So the trend that goes along with that is that the personal and this human coaching becomes even more important. I
absolutely.
think that people that buy, let me just give you an example, because we're moving to the end of the year and coming into the new year. Let's say you want to improve your business and you're like, oh yeah, Christiane with her business coaching, that's all amazing. But over here is this coach and she has this 8-week program. It's all prepared and it's on video and I can just buy it off the shelf and I'm just going to sit down every Monday and I'm going to do this. Just as I'm describing it, I'm like, this is a total New Year's resolution, right? That is something that I feel is going to become even harder because the marketplace will become so noisy
Yeah,
that making the dedication to a program that is fully online is going to become harder and harder. So the
so
human touch,
are you
the
talking about, if
accountability.
I could stop you for clarity there, are you talking about as a user, or are you talking about someone that's creating that course?
But beautiful, it's actually on both ends. So
Both
you
ends.
as a
Okay.
coach, Like, I might be the coach that like, oh, we just, we're not going to meet. You can buy it. You can do this yourself. And there is everything and you can download it. I have even more of a, I don't want to say an obligation, but I want that you succeed, right?
Right.
I would like that you succeed. So this human touch as a coach, offering that, whether that's one-on-one coaching or you just design your program so there is this accountability weekly meeting in there. The Zoom meeting that happens on a Thursday at 11 o'clock. Tune in and
Right.
we're meeting and you tell me what you did and what your plans for the week are. And then on
Right.
Sunday, I want to see your plans for the week lined out. That will become even more important,
Yeah.
especially I think with clients that really want to see some momentum and some growth. So for the coach, it's important to create that. But for the client, it's also somewhat of a confidence booster because there's somebody there that's going to be your cheerleader and
Yeah.
high fives you every week and celebrates the petite practices, praises your progress, and really feels like you're doing amazing. Keep going. Or you can ask questions if you're really feeling like I need some clarification about it. Because as we just
Yeah.
mentioned, ChatGPT doesn't know everything. So at the end of the day, it's just good to get that human touch.
Yeah. And I think it's also important that there's, in both regards, not only the cheerleader role, but the accountability role. And so that the students are, overcoming something, they're being challenged and reminded. And so they're able to draw on the strength that they had to do something to overcome it, right? And the coach, the teacher, the guide, the mentor, however you want to say it, is holding them accountable so that then it like that true transfer of learning, the growth occurs. And then they're able to do the thing with, whatever the course or
Exactly.
what have you is kind of like teaching them so that they feel good about it because they were challenged, right? And they were held accountable. Yep.
Yeah, in one of my episodes on my podcast, Happy Healthy Hustle, I actually use this example where I say, "Is using ChatGPT cheating?" Some of my students ask me that. They're like, "Oh, Dr. Schroeter, isn't it like cheating? I'm using ChatGPT over here." And I was like, "Well, let's talk about this, right?" So the way that I
Yeah, it's a
describe it,
huge subject. Yeah.
yeah. So the way that I describe it, and again, listen to the full episode to really get the whole fun description about this, but here in like a 1 minute summary of this, so to
Okay.
speak, is it let's think New Year's resolutions. And you're going and you're buying yourself a treadmill. And you put it at home in your living room and you think, well, every time I watch TV from now on, I'm going to get on this treadmill. And time goes by and you start using the treadmill a little bit more like a clothing rack instead of actually getting on it every time you watch TV because it's like just nicer to sit on the couch. And I mean, you already ate and now you're like, I don't want to get on the treadmill. I mean, I just want to sit
Right.
on the couch right there in my living room. So you have a treadmill and you could use it, but you don't, right? Or you're not using it to what you intended to do, which was to get in shape.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead, you could also drive to the gym, which is super time consuming because you have to get in the car, you have to change your clothing, you have to hire a trainer, you have to like take a shower, blah, 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 come back. So see where I'm going with this? ChatGPT is a little bit like that treadmill. You put that in your living room, but you don't know how to use it properly. You don't really see outcomes and results. You're like, whatever. I don't know where this is all going, right? I want to do
Right.
it just the traditional way. I just want to use my thing the way that it has been done all along. Okay, that's fair. You can do it all along, but you could actually probably use that treadmill and be super efficient with it because you could just work out for 10 minutes 2 times per day and you're saving yourself a ton of time. You just have to
Ton of
figure out how
time.
to do it properly. How to do it
Right.
properly. And that's really how I look at this. That a lot of people they just kind of like look at it as like it's a button and like on, off, on, off. It's not like that. There's so many functions on that treadmill. You just need to learn how to program it properly. And that's how it works.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. And then you don't have those love handles anymore. And you got a 12 pack.
Well, and in general, if you are worried about the environment or your time or your money at the gym and da 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 da, there's all this environmental, these factors that I tell you is important in January when you have New Year's resolutions. I get it. Then that's something you have to think a little bit about, right? Does it really
Yeah.
make sense for you to necessarily buy a gym membership for the next 24 months? Maybe not. Right?
Yeah. It's got to be something that works for you, not against you.
Exactly.
Yeah. 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 100%. Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay. Well, as we kind of come into a port here and, tie up the ship, what might be some final suggestions that you might have for people that are, more hesitant with using AI and, words of, I don't know, thought, consideration, suggestion on how to put it to use for them so that it's in a good constructive way?
Yeah, that's a good question. Don't immediately think and that's not going to do it. As with anything, as I tell my kids with like new foods that we try, take one bite. And
Right.
if you don't like that one bite, that's all right. At least you gave it a chance. But in reality, it's not just like opening a browser and putting a prompt in chat. A lot of the apps you're using or the stores you're visiting or the things that you buy are already using AI. So it's not even like you have an influence on it, but it's already impacting your life in a beautiful way. Like if you pull up a traffic app, there's already
Yeah.
AI to get you from point A to
Embedded.
point B
Yep.
without running into a traffic jam. Or if you go into
Right.
a store, like a lot of the suggestions you might get on your coupon app are based on your previous purchases or suggestions it might give you. So it's not
Sure.
always necessary to even feel like you need to change your whole life. Just look at it more as like a gentle nudge to make things a little bit simpler. And of course, there are tremendous benefits from using AI to your life too. Starting, I just talked with somebody the other day who lives alone and uses, Alexa to have little conversations in the morning. Hey,
Yep.
Alexa, tell
Great.
me something
Yeah.
fun. Tell me a joke. How is the weather going
Yeah.
to be? And I mean, it's just beautiful. And think about this: that person was living alone. Like I say, it's not always necessarily that you need to think about like the good and the bad guy. It's sometimes just like small little things that could be the gentle nudges towards some more positivity in life. And we definitely need more of that, all of us.
We do indeed. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great personal example of someone that's, feeling a sense of connection
Mhm.
because of it. And as a matter of fact, I heard the story recently where I believe that it's Suzanne Summers' husband is making a clone of her.
Mhm.
So to be able to interact with her, she's passed, but he's of the mindset that he wants to kind of relive the good times and be reminded of her. I mean, personally, I myself, both of my parents have passed and I have those saved voice messages from them that I just love listening to, right? And of course, there's like, pictures on the walls and things like that, but I think that it's definitely a great tool to use to maintain a sort of sense of connectedness because sometimes, personally speaking, I'll listen to an old recording or something and that'll prompt a memory and then I'll call my sister about it or something. You know what I mean? And so it's just like an example of still having them in our world, even
Mhm.
though they're not. So I think that there's a lot of creativity and growth that can come out of it all.
Yeah, and I love that you bring this up, leaving legacy, because that is
Yeah.
really what a lot of entrepreneurs why they start their business. They want to leave a legacy of them in the world. And that is something that if you look back at your own life, you want to be remembered by, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why I
Yeah.
wrote the book, the Discover Your Superpower book. It's like you don't want that people say, "Oh yeah, Christiana, yeah, she was a good teacher." That's it. Like,
Right. And
we
then,
want to maybe like have a little bit more, like what I just read you. Like she pushed me outside of the box and she
yeah.
really changed my life. The way that I think is completely different now. So that is something that the words, the wisdom, the images, the videos, that is something that you can really use AI and really connect the dots between what you currently have, like tapes, pictures, etc., and make
Yeah.
this much more like for the future also as leaving your legacy and creating a mark in the world. And that's absolutely true that we need to think a little bit more about when we interact with AI, that it's also in a certain way as a tool for us to teach what our future generations are going to be doing with it. So
You're right. Yep.
like the pictures, the images, the videos, all that, I think is just a beautiful way of creating some memories. And while we might not all want to create a person that maybe passed away in our lives,
Right.
I think I love the
For sure.
sentiment behind it. I love the sentiment behind it. It really shows there
Yeah.
was some love there. And it's maybe
Yeah.
even something that you can think like, all right, so how can I maybe record some voice notes? How can I maybe create some videos? And maybe, there's some way of doing this because it will mean a lot to the people that are around right now. And I
Indeed.
always hear this, Mark, from people that whenever they think about this, they say, I wish I would have done this. So
Ah,
look at
right.
AI as a little nudge. You gotta get going on you gotta get
Nice.
going on this. So you want to
Nice.
think of AI as making this all simpler.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Very good. I love the way you tied it all up there, Dr. Christiana. I love it. And so if people want to, explore more, where can they find your books? Where can they reach you online?
Yeah, so all my books are discoverable, to use that word right there, discoverable on
There you
Amazon.
go. Okay.
Take my free superpower quiz that we will drop in the show notes, the link. And while you're there on my website, drchristiane.com, also watch that TEDx talk, like it. Follow me on YouTube because I'm dropping little clarity talks on YouTube where I'm basically interviewing amazing entrepreneurs. I'm getting interviewed by students, by clients, and really sharing some insights. Right now, we're really focusing on learning styles. We had some experts talking about ADHD. We had some experts talking about how we can tap into mental clarity. So look at my YouTube videos as well, Dr. Christiane, on that channel.
Love it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing what you have. I really appreciate your time. Stick around, but yeah, thanks so much for being here today, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, we'll edit the rest out. That was fun. That was great.
Super fun. There was something in between. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me close this little window right here. I was thinking the other day when you just mentioned that with the pictures and with the videos and all this. I'm going to tell you this right now just because I didn't want to put it on the recording. You're
Yeah.
going to laugh about this.
What's that?
I have a closet here next to my desk, and I have
Yeah.
all these VHS tapes.
Yeah.
VHS tapes. And so the other
Old
day
school. Total old school. They're still
so
working?
I well, I don't know. I just sent them to this company and they are
Right.
creating digital.
They're digitizing them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just coming back now. So I don't know. They might be coming back this week or next
Well,
week.
how
And it
fun. That'll be so exciting.
could be total junk on there. But you know how important that was for me to do that? I was like,
Yeah.
So they're probably using some AI to fill in holes or whatever. And it's cool with
Yeah.
me, but in general, I'm like, this does us no good. No good. It's
Right.
just sitting
Just
there,
sitting there.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm in the.
Oh, wow. I'm excited to hear about the outcome.
Well, and this is what I'm thinking, Mark. On my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start weaving in some of the clips of like little Christiana in Germany, etc., and petite practice because I spent a lot of time in Paris. So a lot of the videos actually from when I was in Paris and
Mm.
really show like, oh, this all makes sense now. It's making this lady super authentic right there. Yep. So I'm going to weave some of these in there.
That's great. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's literally drawing on your own experience. And then you can
Mhm.
just kind of like blossom out from that one experience so that you're tying it back, but you're making it relevant into today.
That's
I
exactly
love
the
it.
goal. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we'll
Okay.
talk soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye. Have a good weekend.
You too.